You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, a little bit quiet on the New World front this week.
Yeah, not a lot. I was really hoping to get some news, some big patch notes, but it hasn't happened yet. So we don't have a lot to talk about, but we do have something.
We do a little bit of, I guess, sad, happy news. We're going to discuss what kind of news it is. Real quick, though, guys, if you haven't been to New World Fans in the last 4 days or 5 days, you got to get over there now because the new appearance of the website, the new rework of the website is now live. Of course, taking us to credit for that. He did an amazing job. It looks dope. Go over there, check out the new appearance. We will be updating guides over there shortly or soon once the NDA drops. But dude, we continue to post news over there. The website is extremely useful. We got maps, we got a builder, and all those things are gonna database. We got all those things that are ready to be updated when the NDA drops. But definitely go check that out. The new appearance, it's awesome. It's sick, dude. I'm very proud of it. I'm proud to be working with Taken because he did an amazing job there.
He did, man. It looks great, dude. I echo everything you just said. Taken did an amazing job. It looks great, and we are trying. Our goal for New World Fans is to be the all-inclusive New World website, and I think we're well on our way to having that, thanks to Taken. And then We're working on a lot of guides and other things over there, like you said. So hopefully will be kind of the go-to site. So we really hope you guys enjoy it and find it useful. Most of all, we hope that you get some use out of it and it helps you as you're playing the game, because that's the goal here. And we appreciate everybody that uses the site, man. It's coming along nicely, and yeah, like you said, I'm very proud of it as well. It's been a fun project to work on. We put a ton of work into it, especially Taken. Yeah, it looks great, man.
Yes, and another announcement here. We are now doing lore episodes. So every Friday, you're going to get a new lore episode from the database, the lore pages that we have over there at New World Fans. You can follow along with us on those episodes every Friday. I'm enjoying it, Bordy. I'm very interested in the lore of Aeternum and New World. And now we have an excuse to learn more and more as we do these lore episodes. You can find them on New World Fans, obviously on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to go over there, hit that subscription button, the notification bell, and you'll be notified when those lore episodes go live. But dude, we're like a machine every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's when our videos go live. So, if you're watching this video of the podcast or another lore episode, these go live on a scheduled basis for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our title. We again don't have a lot. We were expecting patch notes. I think a lot of people were. We did get a picture of a rework of the Mona Lisa as Lady Isabella. It was a pretty cool picture. I liked it. Obviously not what we were looking for. But it was like World Art Day or something like that, I think. So that was the bit of New World stuff that was released this week. But I would assume, and probably are going to get in trouble again because I assumed last week would be the patch notes. This upcoming week should be patch notes, I think, from the April update.
I would think so, and I would imagine that they're working on a lot of things behind the scenes. I expect some banger patch notes to come out, man. We know at least we're going to get some Gauntlet stuff in there, but I would expect for us to get some pretty big news this week. That's what I'm hoping for, and I really do think that we're going to get that. It's a little bit delayed, but I think it'll be worth the wait.
Yes, I do too. I'm excited about the Ice Gauntlet, and I'm excited to see what they've changed since March, because it has been a little bit. So here we go, dude. This week, I hope. So here's the main topic we have for this episode, and it is about not New World necessarily, but another project that Amazon Gaming Studios was working on, and that was the Lord of the Ring MMO. It was canceled. They were working together with Tencent, which is not a very popular company to be working with, and apparently some disagreements occurred between Amazon and Tencent. I would assume over some sort of monetization because Tencent is notorious for that. And now it is officially canceled.
Yeah, man, it does kind of suck because I wanted to play the Lord of the Rings MMO. I thought, I was pretty excited whenever it was announced, and I know I wasn't the only one. I'm a pretty big Lord of the Rings fan. I know there's tons of us out there, and I wanted to play it, dude. I know there is a Lord of the Rings MMO out there right now, but it's obviously pretty old at this point, so I wanted a new experience. It sucks, man. It's kind of disappointing news for sure, and they said that they were unable to secure terms to proceed with the title at this time. And they said that they love the Lord of the Rings IP and they're disappointed that they're not going to be able to bring the game to customers, which does suck, man, because I think that was a really big title for Amazon Games. And so now we have New World, dude. We have New World, and I think this is going to have to be the hit that they're looking for to break through into the gaming industry.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're running out of IPs for sure.
Yeah.
Breakaway, Crucible, the other two games that have been canceled. Obviously, New World's been delayed to this point. But we're going to talk about a little bit about that, Bordy. The effect, what it means for New World as the team was, as this is the third game to be canceled from Amazon Gaming Studios, or at least that we know of. What that means for New World, obviously, now that they don't have another MMO in the works, so now New World is the project that they have. So first and foremost, Bordy, I know Lord of the Rings was an IP that me and you were both excited for to see another game come out from, but it seems like, as is the case with a lot of games that do launch, there's some monetization issues there, Bordy, with Tencent. So, what are your thoughts on gaming as a whole, the monetization that probably was trying to be pushed in the Lord of the Rings, and what potentially what kind of sort of monetization strategy will they use for New World? Do you think that will be affected by this decision to close out the Lord of the Rings IP? Do you think maybe this is good news because they are standing firm on some sort of monetization strategy for their gaming project?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it probably is good news on the side of Amazon Game Studios, because it just shows that they're not going to be bullied around into making bad decisions whenever it comes to monetization strategies. And we all know, Amazon has a ton of money, so they don't really need to go that route anyway. And I think anytime you partner up with Tencent, they have such a bad reputation of just trying to squeeze every penny out of their customers, and that's not something you want. And it's especially not something you want out of a huge IP like Lord of the Rings. You don't want that to be ruined by some big pay-to-win scheme or something crazy like that. You want that game to be a banger, and you want everybody to love it. You want it to just pop off. And so I think that this does kind of bode well on the monetization front for New World as well, because it shows that they are sticking to their guns. At least that's what it seems to be on the outside looking in. Now, who the heck knows what the actual negotiations were or what the dispute was about? Who knows? But we do know that Tencent's notorious for this monetization nonsense that they pull all of the time. So now it seems like Amazon, they have full control over their stuff. Obviously, I think they're going to stick to their guns with the monetization strategy they have in place right now, which is just a buy-to-play game, no sub model with an in-game cash shop that's not pay to win in any way. That's what they say it's going to be, and I think that's how it's going to stay. And so I think it's fine. I think in that regard, it is good news, because I wouldn't want them to partner up with Tencent, dude. I wouldn't want that at all. I think that would just be disastrous. So I'm okay with them not doing that. It does suck that the Lord of the Rings MMO is canceled, though.
Well, and if I'm not mistaken, they really didn't partner with Tencent. Didn't Tencent bought the company they were working with?
Yeah, exactly.
Which was Leiyu.
Yeah.
A very unfortunate situation. Lord of the Rings, again, is one of, if not the best universe in the fantasy realm. So it just sucks to see that go by the wayside. But Bordy, one of my opinions on this is typically, as far as video games go, I think it's hard to translate that film or that world of the Lord of the Rings into a gaming type atmosphere to begin with. So maybe this is good for all of us, Lord of the Rings fans and fans of New World, because they're not going to have their wires crossed, and we're not going to see the Lord of the Rings IP get fumbled again.
Yeah, that does suck. I think one of the things they were wanting to do though is they were wanting to bring like new monsters, new characters, new things into the
Right.
game that we haven't seen in Lord of the Rings yet. So that might have been a good thing, or maybe not so much, because there are a lot of Lord of the Rings fans that aren't necessarily video game players. So would that have brought them into the world of playing MMOs just because it's adding to the story, or would that be detrimental to the series as a whole because now you have to go play the video game in order to see some of the lore, you know what I mean? Some of the stories, some of the new creatures and the developments of the game. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree. It is hard to kind of bring that to life in a video game and make it and have it done well. Do you know of any games that have ever done that?
The Lord of the Rings specifically, or like from the
No. Just anything from screen to video game that's been done really well. That was a movie first, some series first, and then it was made into video.
I can't think of one right now off the top of my head. I mean, Batman, does that count? The Arkham series is the Arkham Knight or the Dark Knight. The video game series has been good.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are like comic books, so I don't know if you can really count all those like Marvel Batman games, but Ultimate Alliance, the Batman, those are the only things that come to mind as we talk about it. But Bordy, one of the things that I think is interesting too is we are still getting the Amazon series, the TV series that is based in the world of Lord of the Rings. So Amazon still has ties to the IP. Maybe after a successful TV series, will they reboot the MMO? Who knows at this point?
Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe they'll be able to finagle their way into regaining, full control of the MMO IP. I don't know, man. Well, I guess time will tell. I guess we'll see. It does suck. I would like to see a Lord of the Rings MMO come to fruition as long as it's done well. And it's kind of disappointing, but what is this gonna mean for New World? Since it's canceled, is that going to have an effect on New World? Are we worried now about New World? What do you think is going to happen, man?
I would say no. I think if anything, this is a positive thing for New World, just because anything that not that they were the same group of people working on both games. But maybe, just kind of like they did with Crucible, they moved a lot of those people over to the New World team. Maybe we'll start to see some of those people that were working on Lord of the Rings come over and help out, New World with features in the future. And I think that could be very good for obviously New World to expand upon their team with, people from the inside and the Amazon gaming studio. I also think, Bordy, that now I was a little worried that they would try to balance these two games that would be competing with each other. And now it seems like they are going to only have one MMO, and it turns out it's New World.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I was a little bit concerned about that too, because what I was concerned about is they were using New World as a jumping off platform for Lord of the Rings. And I think a lot of people had speculated that anyway. And so that New World was kind of just their testing grounds to make a Lord of the Rings MMO, which now obviously can't be the case because Lord of the Rings isn't happening. So I do think we're going to see an influx of more developers on New World. I think that's stated in a bunch of these articles here. And I think Amazon stated that they're definitely moving some of those people that were working on that project over to other projects. Well, I don't really know what other projects they have going except for New World. I think they do have a couple of other ones that they haven't fully announced yet. At least that's kind of what's in circulation. I don't know what those are.
Right.
But I do know New World is their next big thing, and I think that this will help the world of Aeternum and help New World. And to your point about them having competing MMOs, I think it's very good in that regard, because now all their eggs are in the New World basket right now, so I think that is a good thing, that they're not going to have to be juggling both of those and seeing which one can be more successful. And then potentially, what if Lord of the Rings pops off and then it outshines New World? Would they have scrapped it later on down the road, or what would happen? So I think that New World is, dude, I think this news only helps New World. on a lot of different fronts. And, it is kind of concerning because they have had so many failures. Like, is Amazon just going to back out of games altogether? Are they going to be done? Well, that doesn't appear to be the case because they have said publicly that is definitely not happening. They've said publicly that they are still committed to making video games and breaking into this industry one way or another. So they're not, I don't think they're going anywhere, man. It might take them a while to break in, but I fully believe New World is going to be that jumping off point for them.
Yes, and New World is coming out in August. They're not. I think all the questions about it being canceled or being delayed again, I think are like, I would say,
I don't think that's
slim
happening.
to none.
I think it's right
At this point, they've been pushing towards a grind. For an August release. I think a lot of us knew. When they made that announcement that it was something that, like, they had no reason to announce another date until they knew for sure that they could get it out. So I think 99% sure that the game will be out in August. And like you said, it'll be their first IP. I think, initially there's going to be a ton of people playing New World. It's a $40 game on Steam. An MMO, which tons of people are looking for, a new MMO. And I think it's got a very unique spin on that genre as well. So, you combine all those things, it's a perfect storm, Bordy. And I agree with you that this New World is going to be their jumping off point in the gaming space. So, in my mind, that is really good for New World because there are no projects in the background like Lord of the Rings that are looming. That they can kind of say, oh, well, if we don't get them in New World, we'll definitely get them in the Lord of the Rings IP. That's off the table now. And dude, Amazon, like you said, they have a ton of money. So, with New World, like all hands on deck, ride or die New World, that could be really good for the longevity and the success of the game.
Yeah, I think this news is only positive for New World in particular. I don't know how positive it is for Amazon Game Studios overall, because if they did have a popped off series like Lord of the Rings as an MMO, that could have been really huge. But I think New World's going to be huge anyway, man. The preview event was very successful, and had the preview event sucked, I think they would have scrapped New World 2 and moved on to something else. But because the preview event was very successful, I think that was eye-opening to them. They've changed stuff so much. That game's coming out in August, dude, without a doubt. They're not gonna scrap that. I think if anything, potentially the patch notes might have been delayed a little bit because of this news, and they may be shuffling around personnel right now. They may be having an influx of new developers, and they're trying to get them situated before they drop patch notes. I don't, who knows? That's pure speculation, but maybe it has something to do with that, and now they have more manpower to make the game even better before launch.
Right, exactly. They don't have a lot of time. Me and you have talked about this like in, off podcast. I think we may have talked about it a little bit on podcast. But they really only have probably, April, May, and June realistically to add content to the launch product. Because July, they got to get everything situated for that massive influx of people during the closed beta. There's a ton of people that have pre-ordered this game that are going to use that closed alpha, beta, whether people want to admit it or not, to try out the game. And if they don't like the game, they're going to cancel their pre-order. I mean, that's like, pretty self-explanatory and easily, so New World knows that's going to be the case. They're not going to put out a product during the closed beta that is full of bugs and everything. So July, most of July, I would think, is going to be used to wrapping those things up, to getting performance on par, to getting everything ready to present people in a closed beta situation. That the NDA drops, there's going to be tons of people streaming, creating videos on it, and that's going to be the selling point for launch day, right? So,
yep.
Once we get April, we'll probably only have 2 more patch notes before launch. But like we said, I think this game's coming out in August, and if that's the case, then I'm excited to see what they're going to release in the next 3 months. That's going to get this game up to finished product or gold, or whatever they call it when a game is ready to be finished.
It's very close already, man. It's very close already, and hopefully they have an influx of developers to push that along even further. And who knows, man? Maybe we will get a few new features added because they have more manpower. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about, but overall, I do obviously mourn the loss of a potential Lord of the Rings MMO, but I think it's really good for us New World fans. Because their focus can be now even more dialed in to getting New World in the hands of players.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, Bordy. So that about does it for that conversation. Unless you have anything to add, why don't we move on to the company of the week?
Yeah, man. The company of the week this week is DEA. So they're a Region NA faction Marauders. Oh boy. Language English, focus PVX, size 51 plus. They are currently recruiting. And their tagline here is group up and dominate, bro. That's what I'm talking about. DEA, apparently it stands for Dope Elite Assassins. Ooh, let's go, dude. They're a tight-knit group of gamers who've been playing together since 1996. They have heavy roots in World of Warcraft, various MMO FPS games, and most of them have come to love the grind. They said they're looking to recruit chill players that they can have a good time with. They don't need to be a sweaty player, and you don't need to be a gaming veteran. Don't let our origins deceive you. We have players ranging from 16 years old to 60. Sounds dope, man. It has an information here about how you can join, what you can expect if you do join, and then it says they have a high tier or min max players. So they have a section there to tell you if you're kind of more of a hardcore player, where you go or what you do within the guild and what your style is going to be or what your role is going to be. There we go, within the company. And then it has a section here for newbies or casual players and what your role will be within the company. So they have this lined out nicely over there on newworldfans.com. Make sure to link all this information and options wherever this podcast can be found.
Yeah, we thank DEA for creating their company advertisement over there at New World Fans. If you guys have a company that you want to advertise and try to build up a big old company for on launch, go over to New World Fans, create an account, and start advertising your company over there. Our Discord is blowing up, dude. So we also have the Revenant. It's alive and well over there, and we appreciate you guys for joining our Discord. And a lot of people have a lot of kind things to say about New World Fans and the podcast and everything. So thank you guys. If you want to be part of our community, you can join the Discord in the show notes as well. Bordy, that about does it for this week. A little bit of a short episode. I'm sure we'll make that up next week when we're going over 70 pages of patch notes. Why don't you have anything to promote, dude? Anything that we missed in this episode?
I always have stuff to promote, dude. YouTube.com/Studio Loot.
Yeah,
NewWorldFans.com and Twitter @Studio Loot. That's what I have to promote.
Yeah, definitely. Go check those things out as well. We'll be back next week, of course, with another episode. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. We've hit over 600 subs on YouTube, and it's been crazy. We haven't even been doing that for a year. It's just crazy to think that we already have 600 subs, Bordy. So we
thank you guys, man. It's been awesome.
You guys are amazing. Thank you all for the continued support and the love that you show on YouTube. And on the podcast, and just in general, we're very grateful, you guys. Thank you again, and we'll see you in another episode of New World to Go.